The theme of today's show is the beach. We're at the beach today. Why are we at the beach? Because we are within just over a week. July 21st will be the biggest trade deal in Canadian history with the United States, promised by our new Prime Minister, Mark Carney. He said we will have this amazing trade deal with the US by that date. So that date's significant. I hope he's working hard right now because we're almost there. Nope, he's on vacation. That leads us to the show. Let's get into the content. This is a reminder of all the times, not all the times, but just a few of the times that Mark Carney remind us we are in the biggest crisis in Canadian history.
We are facing the most significant crisis of our lifetimes because of President Trump's unjustified trade actions and his threats to our sovereignty. You are building Canada strong as we face the biggest crisis of our lifetimes. Because we are facing the biggest crisis of our lifetime. This is the biggest, if I didn't say this exactly, but I'll resume, the biggest crisis in our lifetimes. Now that election is over, and we are in a once-in-a-lifetime crisis.
Canada is facing the worst crisis of our lifetime, and to get through it, we have to make big changes.
The most serious crisis of our lives. We need to react with resounding, overwhelming strength.
We are facing the most critical moment in our history. We need leadership. That's where we start this thing. Mark Carney is on holidays. The government won't say where because of a security risk, and they also won't say when he's coming back. Here's the problem. Listen up closely.
Every single journalist in the country wants to have more information about the negotiations, and my answer is always the same. We will let the Prime Minister do the negotiation, supported, of course, by our negotiator-in-chief back in Washington, Kirsten Holman, and we will not negotiate in public.
Holy crap, that means there's no one negotiating right now in Canada because Mark Carney's on holidays, on vacation, nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be known. We don't even know when he's coming back. So we are just over a week away from the biggest deal in Canadian history, and Mark Carney has told us for the past 3-4 months that we're in the biggest crisis in Canadian history, the hinge moment, the hinge in our history, and he's gone. You can't even make this stuff up. I thought this was pretty funny. The most educated Canadians are choosing to leave. Do you know how many times I get posts and comments and people saying, "Oh, you're just so smart." I'm being sarcastic. They're calling themselves geniuses, economic genius. I've gone to school my whole life. I got a master's. I'm a doctor. I am a lawyer. That's the elbows up crowd loves reminding us how they're the most educated people in Canada. So naturally, I find this headline absolutely hilarious. Now in Canada, traditional values is considered extremist.
What they're saying on a subject, like becoming more extremist, and if someone was very believed in equal gender rights, but all of a sudden are leaning towards traditional values, and that might be a sign that they're becoming more extremist. But
what is going on in this country? Traditional values, what? Family and caring for others and being friendship. What are we talking about? If we went back 20 years, how the streets were safe and we could actually pay for shelter and you wouldn't have to wait your entire life to get services in a hospital, the more traditional values. If you believe in that, that's seen as extremist. This is incredible. But this is not the craziest part about this story. The most insane part about the story, let me show you. What I am like bothered by this whole thing, obviously the original thing went super viral because people are like, is this for real? But this is what bothers me. Are Canadians not concerned that the RCMP has not come out with a public statement to correct this and say, well, it was an accident, or, oh, she misspoke, or she or he misspoke? Like, that's the thing. We don't even know what's happening here, Canada. It is concerning that the RCMP has not fixed what has been done here. And the memes obviously exploded. Tokyo Rosie on X says, I don't care what David Schweimer has to say. Or Max here says, the RCMP, I stand by what I said. And there's a lot of discussion online. It's a man, baby. It's just a man. I mean, I'm just showing you what people are talking about. Who remembers Jagmeet Singh's brother come out and do a press conference saying his brother needs protection, police protection, because his life is in risk as a public person? Check out, Jagmeet Singh has been spotted on a bike while texting. I think that's illegal. You're not allowed to text and bike. He's looking down. But does this look like a man that needs police protection? Honest question. Somebody give that guy a ticket. He shouldn't be texting and driving his bike. And if traditional values are now seen as extreme, coming soon, CBC and RCMP will declare loving your country is going to be a radical act. I know it sounds far off, but this is absolutely ridiculous. This image is going parabolic on the internet. It is the person sitting on a subway wearing an elbows up shirt, wearing a mask. What is going on in this image? There are zero wrong answers. Actually, it's better if you give the wrong answer. Leave a comment in the comments section. What are you seeing in this photo? So it's officially been announced by CBC that the federal government is planning on cutting $180 billion to $200 billion by year 2028. Just to put that into perspective, our full federal budget, the budget that they didn't provide us, is $586 or $89 billion. This number is astronomical. Now that we know this astronomical number, do you think it's time for Squeaky to give Bruce Fanjoy a job providing everybody pink slips?
Mark, we need all hands on deck to defend our country from Trump's trade war, and that includes Canada's public servants. Canada has some of the best in the world. Many of you live in Carleton. You're well educated, you work hard, and now more than ever, your country needs you. But Pierre, much like Donald Trump, shows utter disdain for public servants. He's promising Trump-style cuts to the public sector, which would lead to 100,000 jobs lost. These cuts will put Carleton residents, his own constituents, out of work at a time when we need them most.
Oh man, I can't wait, because the thing is he pleaded with Carleton to get elected, got elected, and now he's going to be responsible for providing the pink slips to all the people of Carleton. How ironic is that? The National Post today, Canadian government tells employees they may face job cuts as Mark Carney looks to trim spending. Yeah, this is real, guys. And here's another one. Canadian government tells employees, you're probably going to get cut. They need to trim the fat. And here's another one. Brace for layoffs. Budget watchdog says Mark Carney's government aims to slash $25 billion in spending. And this is the parliamentary budget officer. He says it's doable, but it's not without consequences. It's just a matter of how much pain we're willing to inflict on the public servants and on Canadians. But what is hilarious is they campaign on protecting the private sector. I'm actually thrilled by this, but that's why this story is just unbelievable is people voted for them to protect the public sector. You saw Bruce Fanjoy, and now they are literally doing more aggressive cuts than what Pierre Poilievre would have done. I want to explain to you why they're making these massive cuts. It's because of Donald Trump. That's right. The only reason we're raising to 2% of NATO all the way up to 5% of NATO and doing the Golden Dome, which is $61 billion, all of this money that we're putting towards all of this, it's elbows down. That's right. It's Donald Trump saying you need to commit to spending all of this money for NATO. Otherwise, we're not going to have a trade deal. It's part of the trade deal. And it's hilarious because everybody voted, whoever voted for Mark Carney they thought it was elbows up. But he's giving all of Donald Trump's demands, every single one of them, but in secret, behind closed doors. But we can see the proof is in the pudding. He's slashing everything because he's elbows down, Canada. This is huge news that came out today is that Japan, it just shattered the internet speed record with 1.02 petabits per second. To put that into perspective, it is so fast that it could download the entire Library of Congress in 0.16 seconds. Grab all of Netflix, everything on Netflix, in 3.9 seconds, or pull every YouTube ever created and download it in 12.5 seconds. Can you imagine having that kind of speed? That's why Japan is absolutely crushing it. Canada, if you try to log into your CRA account, it might take you 45 minutes. By that time, Japan has downloaded the entire internet. We got an article from the Financial Post that says how the trade war is turning into a tourism win in Canada. Don't believe everything you read in the paper. On the surface, this could be seen as we are winning, but we are not winning anything. Canadians are not traveling down to the United States. They're still travel, but they're way down the numbers because Canadians can't afford to go down to the United States at $1.40 currency. Americans are also not traveling to Canada right now because of the trade war. It is a reduction in travel between the two countries overall. It's not a win whatsoever. Canadians are traveling within Canada, so there's more Canadian travel and tourism, but there's no additional anything. There's no American dollars coming into Canada. It's just Canadians spending their money within Canada. But overall, there's zero win here. This is my last one. Okay, I thought this was, and I'm saving the best for last. I thought this was a Saturday night skit. Yeah, that's right. Melanie Joly is pitching to the world that Canada is the absolute best place on planet Earth for researchers and the brightest people to come here. Honestly, the way that she's moving her finger to try to look like it's more believable, you just got to see this.
Canada is the place to do research in the world because Canada holds the world, what the world needs. To all the researchers of the world watching us right now, I want you to think about Canada being the premier destination for your work. We want you to choose Canada because you know what? We're a stable and trustworthy environment, a very democratic country. We have cutting-edge infrastructure, we have strong financial support, and we also invest in excellence. My message to you is Canada is not for sale, we're open for business, and we're open for science.
Canada is not for sale, everybody, and we are open for business. So everybody around the world, stop what you're doing, move to Canada and work for us. Work for Melanie Joly. She's hiring right now. That's it for today's show. Hopefully, and I mean hopefully, Mark Carney gets off of his holidays and vacation, comes back home, and delivers the most beautiful, most epic trade deal in Canadian history Because right now, Canada needs something to look forward to, because everything we see where our traditional values are seen as extreme, to Melanie Joly pitching to the world that we are the best country to do business and research. I mean, you can't make any of this stuff up, Canada. And we have a PM that's gone. We better get this trade deal, and I will be reporting for all of you. I'll see you on the next report.